Well, my name is Strijbosch. I'm from Apifonica in Finland. And we sponsored the TADHack. And one day I was in The Hague with the guys there at the Look. I just give you an overview of what's happening. Wait, okay. So we saw that 40 hacks did use our solutions or our platform to create some great new products. So, and we can split it up in 5 groups. You see the lifesavers, the IoT, what will be very important for the future, I think. The enterprise solutions, barrier breakers, and the classifiers. That's always nice. And then you see some solutions. The first prize that's given to this solution that's built in London. It's phone guard, so it's very quick done. It's in 2 days. They made it working, really working. If you want, there is a total list of all the solutions they are built on that on the TADHack. So if you want a link for that, just ask me. I can send you a file for that. So that was in a live help in Chicago. If you have a lot of snow and you cannot reach anybody, SMS is always working. So that was very nice. We also had one in Kuala Lumpur. So if needed help, they could reach by SMS. But it's all technical information is available. If you want, I can show it if you want, but it takes a long time. So I don't want to take you off to dinner so late. So this one they made in Spain, Cyclo, Madrid. They won the second prize for our view. Then we had another one in Buenos Aires. Also, always somewhere when it's necessary to have a connection, and if you're not sure that you have an internet connection, SMS could help in this environment. If you see, a lot of things have to do with risk and security, so that's an opportunity for us all. And then the first prize was going to the application called Roam, and that's also created in London. And again, we have all the details if you want, if you are interested to know what they created, what they are solving, we can show it to you. Lagos did a lot of nice thing, also in Ukraine. And that was our presentation for now. So if you want to speed up, call me. Yeah?
I know, that was very quick. But this is good, we're getting to the end of the day. It's been a long day.
You asked for a quick presentation, so you get it.
So this is usually where I have everybody get up and just jump up and wave their hands, but no. We're ready to go home. So we're going to get this fairly quick. So what we wanted to do is to kind of show the 3 global winners that we had. We had some areas that everybody used. Rescom won, Telestax for their TADHacks, which was unbelievable. We really couldn't believe it. In Chicago, there was 7 out of 10 that used our products to do some piece of what they were doing. So it's a good feeling to be one of the companies that has been here from day one. Kind of the thought is, from what we saw this year, we had people all over the world attending the TADHacks in different countries, different cities. And so really what came out was communicate everywhere. And that was just a really good thought process of Alan and company to get that out. So I thought I'd start out with, since nobody gets to pick on Alan. So I just want to ask you guys, who is this Alan Quayle dude? That was him at one time. That was him at the start of the TADS. And that was him doing the global winners. Now I've got to ask you, does he clean up nice or what? But really, Alan, thank you for allowing us to go on this journey with you. It really has been a journey. I was here in different companies at the time, but Telestax was here from day one. The bottom line is you bring fresh minds from worldly locations, designing and hacking their way into real-time communications via APIs. And that has been just a wonderful journey for us, because of course you help us build this, as well as bringing businesses into the 21st, 22nd, 23rd centuries. So thank you, Alan. So the first up, we had a team in Papayan called the Tech Team Company, and it was kind of interesting. It was Andrea, Sebastian, Giovanni, Camila, David, and what they were thinking at the time was, you know, all these catastrophes are all over the world, and what could we do to help out? And not only help out, but how can we take this data that we're going to get and turning into meaningful data to help out in search and rescues for future catastrophes? It really wasn't to prevent it, but it was really to locate where the folks were. The interesting thing about this hack for us is the little word GLMS. We really didn't have that available. I don't know how they got it, Jean Druel in the back of the room, but they actually loaded our geolocating system on a laptop and got it working. And I think it was a Mac, I'm not positive. It might have been Ubuntu if it was John. But that really blew us away that they took the time to do that. So that way they could do location services based on the devices that were in the field. They could reach out to them and see if they, of course, talk back either USSD or with SMS. And it really was a big deal for these guys to accomplish that by bringing up something that we didn't even have in the market at that time. They won $750 of our prize. Second up was live from Paris, and I love the name, AromaBot. So the first thing I'm thinking is, all right, what kind of sensors are these guys using? But it really wasn't that. What they thought about was, there is a website out there, a company, that you go in, you put what your ailment is, and it'll come back and it'll talk to you about the essential oil. So they did machine learning by using both voice and SMS and chat and video. So what they did is they used our WebRTC product to accomplish that. So they could either talk or chat, and it would go do a data dip out and come back with what needed to be done from the Aroma website. So for us, it was just, again, here's another one where they went the extra mile. They made it so it was communicate everywhere. It was all three types of communication that you see today, and they were able to bring a product back that in Paris, I guess, is huge. Now, aromatherapy is good everywhere. My wife does it, so I do it. Here we go. And the third one for us. It's all Greek to me because it was live from Athens. These guys were great because they were looking at how can we not only use IoT. I've seen a lot of use cases in a lot of the TADHacks where I've done it myself, where we go out and I set up a simple IoT, maybe it's a water sensor, maybe it's a light bulb sensor, whatever it is, and it just literally would alert you that it's out. They took it to the next step. They did one with a heat sensor, so when the temperature went up, and it could be a data center, it could be a pool house, it could be or a sauna, but they set it so that once that happened, it would alert somebody who was ever on call at the time, and it would alert them every minute until somebody responded. And it had a list so they would go through other people as well. Then, with IoT, they go out and they would adjust the thermostat, the power supply, whatever it is that they could control with this was their conception, so that they could bring the temperature down or the temperature up, depending on which way it went. So they were able to do that. Once it was done, when the sensor kicked off, it would go ahead and alert them again. And they set it up so they could do texting, and eventually it would send a voice call out too if needed. But it was just great. They're just outstanding, two individuals from Greece. And that's it. Alan said quick. So again, communicate everywhere. Big thanks to everybody. I mean, TADHack doesn't happen. Alan is a great spearhead. He's got a lot of help. Sponsors, partners, local universities. I mean, it's amazing what he brings to drag into the group for this. It's just a phenomenal thing. So with that, Alan, thank you.
That was excellent. Thank you so much, Harold. And to say there's at least another 30, 40 odd hacks that you've not talked about there that had Telestax as part of the overall hack. Because one of the things we keep telling all the developers to do is mash up, mash up, mash up. It increases your chances of winning. But also it helps them understand all the different capabilities that are available.
All right, super. Thanks, Alan. And thanks to everyone. I wish I could have been there in person. I have been watching the live stream, and it's been a very, very excellent event or conference. So Alan asked me to join you all and talk a little bit about the winners that used Vidyo IO, or our winners that we selected from the TADHack Global event 2017. For those of you not familiar, Vidyo is a video communications company, and Vidyo IO is our communication platform as a service. So what we were doing was judging the hacks that were using our Vidyo IO CPaaS platform. And this was really our first time participating in the TADHack Global event. And it was super exciting for us, quite frankly. It was really great to see the innovation and the ideas that people have when they're developing and how they're using our technology in different ways. So it was a really great event. So with that, I'm just going to walk through the prize winners. Starting off was a team out of the UK. It was State of the Chart, and they actually were a $250 prize winner. What was really interesting was they were developing an app for teams that were doing remote design. So as you can imagine, when you're dealing with design, it's not just sharing spreadsheets and things like that. It's actually sharing whiteboarding and having the ability to sketch and show in real time these different types of design sessions. And so they actually leveraged a third-party application for the whiteboarding and integrated that with the Vidyo IO platform to create this integrated real-time collaboration and annotation service. So it was a really interesting design, and we thought it was a clever way, and it provided some really nice user experiences. The second prize that we awarded was Safe Place. And essentially what they've done is they've integrated real-time telecommunications with an in-home alarm system. So essentially, if an alarm is triggered, that then creates notifications that go out by both voice and SMS messages to the authorities, to the alarm company, but also to the homeowners. And what they did was they included in that a link that allowed for the homeowner to click on a link and actually be able to view what's going on in the home at that moment. And they could actually also use that information and pass it to the authorities so they could get situational awareness of what was happening in the home. So it was a way of kind of sharing this information not only with the homeowners, but also with the responders and so forth, so that they can make sure that when they're approaching, they have a good sense for what sort of situation the first responders might be encountering when they enter the home. The next prize that we awarded was for AI Collab. So Vidyo, we do a lot of work in telemedicine and telehealth. And we're aware of a lot of the challenges that are associated with sharing information, and especially in the United States, we have HIPAA regulations that help control how health information is shared and so forth. And what we really liked about this solution was that it was a way to still provide doctors who are maybe not within the same health system, who don't have access to the same medical records, but still have this ability to incorporate and share their learnings as they're running into different health conditions. And then from there, they can escalate that into a real-time collaboration so that two different doctors, two completely different health systems could actually collaborate on a specific healthcare condition to figure out the best treatment for the patient. The way he coined this as a GitHub for doctors, and I think it's actually a lot more than that. It's a sharing of information, but it also allows them to connect in real time. It had onboard annotation, chatting, messaging, as well as the real-time video component. So the next prize that we awarded was to the team QR Call, and this was what we liked about this was it solves a problem that we run into frequently. There are many times when you want to have a conversation with someone, but you don't necessarily want to share all of your contact information, and it's not an easy process. So they developed a really elegant solution where you can essentially provide the person you want to have a conversation with a QR code, and they can simply scan the QR code and instantly get connected with the right party. So it was a really sort of simple but elegant solution that solves a real world problem that many of us run into on a daily basis when you're trying to collaborate with people outside of your organization. The next team was Text2. And what was really interesting here was they incorporated real-time speech-to-text transcriptions into the live text chat. So the idea here was that as you're having your conversations in your conference, the text or the voice channel from that conversation gets converted into a text transcript, a real-time text transcript into the chat session. And that makes it possible from there to extend into, you know, translation and other types of capabilities. So we thought it was a really unique way to kind of leverage that text-to-speech within a video conversation. And finally, the grand prize winner for us, the $700 prize, went to the team Ciclo. And what we really liked about this is it solves a real problem that exists in society. You know, with consumer electronics and consumer products, it's really turning into just a throwaway type of option. If something becomes broken, you essentially just throw it away and replace it. And the team Ciclo was actually building a community of people that are knowledgeable in how to repair different types of products. And basically, you would go to this marketplace, find the right person who has the expertise on how to repair that product, and then you could connect to them in real time, and they can show you how to repair the product that you have that's broken. So it helps to reduce the amount of waste that's going into landfills. And so we really we felt this was a really interesting solution and a way to use video and telecommunications to solve a real problem that many of us encounter every day. And so, Alan, you asked me to keep it short, so I hope that was short enough. Thank you very much. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ben. Any questions for Ben? Yeah, everybody wants to get, we're at the end of the day, so I can understand why. So what we'll do now is thank Ben for his presentation, and then I'll get Chip set up. We're just going to see a video that Chip did at the end of TADHack, because he's fast asleep in Singapore at the moment. As I mentioned, family issues meant he couldn't be with us in person.
Okay, so I'm going to go in reverse order, leading up to the first place winner from third. We had a few things we wanted to accomplish with the way we chose our hacks. So we looked at, of course, whether or not, the teams used Temasys in their hacks, which is like a primary requirement. We also wanted to see that they'd gotten some progress towards making something work in real life. I believe very much in the concept of the dangerous demo or live coding examples. So we really wanted to see people accomplish something where they could walk away and go, hey, look, I actually made something work this weekend. And we exist to help them accomplish that goal. And so for anyone that was working with us, I mean, we had our support team and myself, waking up in the middle of the night to check Slack to make sure there were messages that were being answered. And if there weren't, I was calling the engineers to wake them up and say, hey, let's get on this. So I really want to give a shout out to everyone that tried and used our SDKs and APIs. It really is our pleasure to see so many people working with that, with those tools, and this is just a great opportunity for us to get feedback about how we're doing, to help generate enthusiasm, and not just about the projects, and of course about Temasys's product, but also about this event and the community that Alan has worked so hard to build over the last 4 years. So I'm really excited about everything that's happened. Now, of course, I also like to think about the strength of the idea and the potential for those ideas that are being, sprung out of these events and the hacks that are coming forward. And you'll see that in terms of the choices we made about the winners, they have very practical solutions that can be implemented and scaled. They actually come up with interesting ways to use the technology that we are built around. And I think, again, they really deserve all the credit. It was a very difficult decision. We had a number of people who hacked on us and, you know, mashed us up with Matrix or with Apifonica. It was really exciting to see how our technologies complement each other in the right situations and in these projects that people have thrown together in literally hours. And in, you know, in our case in Singapore, we kept the doors open for 10 hours, but I have a feeling that people actually worked a lot more than that on their projects from day to day. So start off with third place. I was really pleasantly just surprised to see that we had traction in KL, or Kuala Lumpur as it's known in our neck of the woods. And the thing that excited me about what I saw here with ENVMUN, which is James Ong's hack, is the mashup between IoT and the ability to augment that application with real-time communication. So using data channel and streaming a stream of data, as well as bringing in audio and video if you need it to support field service technicians or to basically trigger alerts using, you know, an SMS API or whatever solution you want on that regard. But then it's about how you make all these things, as Anna was saying earlier, how you make them all work together and how you package that into something that is easily accessible and usable for an end user, even though there's a lot of complicated things happening on the back end. So I really want to see more things like this. And I think this is a common theme for me. I'm extremely excited to see how people mash different things up and get creative with how they use the different tool sets. So we've given, we're going to give James $300, and we're also going to follow up with him and everyone else that's used Temasys, but for the winners, we're going to give them absolutely free premium support to try and help them accelerate the development on their application or bring it into a live proof of concept or into something that is, you know, a live product if they want to take it that way. So, so that's really kind of, you'll see this as a recurring theme on the next two slides, and I probably won't talk as long about them. So moving forward. Second place, again, this team got a ton of recognition already. They totally deserved it. Their demo was polished. The idea was mature. It was innovative. It's about, you know, it's socially responsible. You know, I have an interest in aquaculture and aquaponics and you know, sustainability of our food sources. And in Singapore, I don't know if you're familiar with things here, but we import about 80% of all the food we eat. So food security is a huge issue. And here's a little team in Madrid that's actually hacked together over a weekend a way of automatically monitoring fish farms, mollusk farms, and providing alerts and feedback to help people reduce waste and loss of crops in those industries. And I have personal investment in these kinds of ideas, and again, it's a mashup of different vendors' technologies to generate an outcome which allows people to do a lot more simply than they could if they had to do this by themselves, using technology from IoT to M2M to real-time video streams where a field support person can be out on a boat seeing what's going on, or the buoy in the water can actually show you footage of what the surface of the water looks like if there's an algae bloom, whatever it is, right? This is just fantastic stuff. So we definitely want to see them succeed. And again, we've topped up their prize pot quite a bit. And again, just really loved that idea. The last one, moving on, is really significant in terms of what we think the potential impact for something like this project could have. As a community service, as a potential business, you see a lot of focus on telemedicine and telehealth applications these days. You know, Temasys has quite a few customers in that space, and I hate to be so blunt about it, but a lot of it is kind of like let's help make patient-doctor interactions simpler, or let's do something different with a patient-doctor video chat app where we're embedding that in an application. And those things are innovative and cool, and it's what we need today to improve access to care globally and to be able to handle remote healthcare when diseases are getting more complicated to treat. You got patients that aren't able to get where they need to go, and you want to provide world-class medical care. It's a really important topic. However, this project here is a totally different take on emergency medical services and telemedicine. And I think some of the cool things about it weren't just the technology pieces, but also the way they thought about issues like privacy. And I'm surprised that they were able to work through all of that in such a short period of time. And for me, it wasn't necessarily about the demo being really polished, but here's an idea which has got legs. And if it were to get funding, it could actually be a really great business and something that's both socially responsible and potentially profitable. So I felt like the folks from Auckland, I know it was the first time the event was there. It was a small team. Everybody had to bundle together. When you factor all those things together and the fact that they came up with this idea and were able to produce this hack and this project in a weekend, I was pretty blown away by that. So I really appreciated both the fact that they chose us and worked with Temasys technology and a couple of others, but I thought the idea was just absolutely fantastic. So that's my pitch on our pitches.
Cool. So that was just a Chip from last month, just reviewing some of the winners. Again, they had 20, 30 winners built on that platform. Several of the teams are continuing their work. So it's not just that they did the hack, they won a prize, woohoo, they've gone home. They're meeting, and they're looking at how they take that forward.